So we aimed to be participatory with all elements of the data analysis. So that included workshops to go through analysis planning together, but also, everything from data cleaning and recoding and sort of working on those codes together, to interpreting statistical output or Excel visualizations of data together, to writing up those findings into actionable reports for dissemination.
What I'd recommend to other organizations that are trying to do data analysis for the first time is ensure you really train your team well, and also make sure that you have the software that you need to be able to run this analysis. Training is very critical, and it's also important for people to feel like it's not just a one-off, it's a process, because some people feel overwhelmed. They feel like, oh my God, this is too much. For example, if you've never worked with SPSS, just an example, you feel like, oh my God, I'm just diving into this. But taking it into piece builds and making sure that it's practical, people are practicing step by step, I really encourage that. Also, it helps sometimes, I think, to have one person dedicated to data management. Of course, you'll train the rest of the staff, you'll work with them through the process, but have one focal person who is really helping put the piece together so that it doesn't fall through the cracks, so that it kept online. But also, what we've learned is having a diverse skill set in the analysis. Someone will analyze the data, will give you the numbers, for example. But what does that translate into practically? So having that skill set, having people who are able to bring that other lens, for example, we are talking about gender and sexual exploitation and abuse. What does certain information mean in terms for the women and girls? What do the statistics mean? So really going beyond the numbers, like I mentioned, having different skill sets within the team, I would encourage that for data analysis, and definitely staying open-minded and being open to learning.
I think a really important component is that even if you don't have those highly skilled M&E staff on your team, you can still use these tools and analyze them. We have actually developed a toolkit, so all of the tools that we developed, the adapted tools, are put together in a toolkit, and we are providing guidance on how to collect data with them, how to analyze that data, and how to write up the findings that you have found from the data.
Also, not losing the gender lens in it when you're doing analysis. For example, what does it mean when only 18-year-olds feel unsafe going for food, accessing aid, or if they feel like they're the ones who have to take maybe 3 hours at the food distribution point? What does it mean when a woman spends half a day at the distribution point? Doesn't that further put her in harm?
Participatory analysis takes time. So it's a lot of capacity building and meeting together and making sure we're on the same page. That can be a challenge because it feels like the analysis process takes longer than it normally does. But that's okay, and that's part of the process. I think it was easy because the staff we were working with and research participants were interested in the topic and invested in it. So that made, doing this analysis work together, I think, really interesting, especially when people saw sort of, the analysis is exciting because that's the end of the project, and we're really seeing all the work that we've done come through in these findings and talking about how to present those and how to get that out into programming and into post-distribution monitoring systems. So I think, it makes it easy to get through the analysis, even when it's slow, when there's a team who's excited about the findings.